So growing up in this household was kind of chaotic at times. And for me, you could label it as hypersensitive or being really empathetic or whatever you want to really label it as. I could pick up energies and shifts of people's emotions really well. And so I had to adapt in this environment of when is the weather going to change? And how am I going to prepare for that change? How am I going to protect myself and maintain sense of safety within me? Which created parts of me that were very hyper vigilant. This is something that comes up a lot with working with people, with being in groups and hearing other people's stories in childhood. It might not be your experience of a lot of violence or physical abuse. It could be emotional abuse and just really the gentle shifts with people's energies that you learn as a child to adapt to. So this developed a part of me that was super hyper vigilant, okay, which is pretty typical with people with childhood trauma. That part tends to be very strong because it's been doing its job forever and it's kept you safe for a very long time. In my own life, it becomes a problem when I'm trying to really experience life, to really be present in the moment and feel alive, and especially be more childlike and spontaneous. It's really, really difficult to be spontaneous and alive whenever there's a part inside of me that is constantly on hyper alert state, scanning the background, scanning everybody, scanning literally everything and taking in that information. It's impossible to do both at the same time, to be alive in the moment and constantly be scanning the room or the environment for the sense of safety. So if this resonates with you, this is how I work with this in my own self. Because again, going back to titration and baby steps and small, subtle shifts, it really does add up. So for me, when I take a walk, like I usually walk every day, go to this park, walk around the woods. One thing I try to do is take at least one photo a day, all right, on my walk. There's a part of me that's like, we got to get this walk in, get it over with. We got work to do. We got to make dinner. We got to do all these other things in life. We got to get this done. Just get your exercise in, get it over with, and then move on. Okay, I hear you. Thank you. Thank you for that. But I really want to just experience this and take a break and enjoy the walk. See what's outside today. See what birds and other wildlife I could see. Just see, really, I'm trying to see how the light reflects off of certain things, depending on the time of day, depending on the clouds, everything shifts. It's not the same walk. You can do the same walk and every day is going to be different depending on just the subtle differences between light. If you're aware and you notice it, which doing photography, it's about capturing light. So it's always going to be different. Okay. So as I'm on my walk, I pause, try to be in the moment. I get caught up in framing this picture. What does it look like through the frame here? And really being present with taking that photo. Where for me, it's something that time just stops and I'm completely there and I'm enjoying the experience. I feel like I'm actually living in the moment and just super grateful to be alive, right? That hypervigilant part is not even anywhere in the picture. I can't even find them in my system. They're still there. They're just not present with me. You see, I'm not pausing and saying, "Hey, hypervigilance part, can you give me some space right now? I want to take a photo and be present." I'm not doing that. It just kind of naturally happens because I've done this so much in building up pausing in my life and in different ways. Photography is one way, and I'm just going to focus on that for right now. In pausing in my life and just being present, where the parts work stuff just kind of naturally happens. Okay. So as I'm in that moment, taking my picture, and I'm feeling alive, I'm feeling spontaneous. I try to locate that in my body of like, what does this feel like? Where do I feel it? And take that in. Take a note of that. So in the future, as I'm walking along the rest of, I'm done taking the photo, I keep walking. The hypervigilant part comes up again and scanning. Is like, there's people walking over there. There's something over there. Okay, thank you. I'm picking that up. Hypervigilant part, I feel you in my body, getting a little bit more tense, getting a little bit anxiety. Now let's focus on what it felt like and where I feel it in my body of taking that photo. This is going back and forth. The pendulation of it, of swinging from this space that I feel alive and present and living in the moment. I feel grounded and safe. From that feeling, swinging over to the feeling of, oh, hypervigilant part is here. I feel anxiety and tense right now. I feel pressure. I feel unsafe. Okay, let's go back over to feeling safe. And hypervigilant part, can you feel this safety? Can you start feeling this? Where this isn't black and white, there's gray area in between. Can we meet in the middle here? And just doing that over and over again, right? Until in the moments where the hypervigilant part is super activated, we can instantly go back and connect to the moments where we feel safe in our life, where we feel really present and grounded. This comes up so much with people trying to change patterns in their life, trying to really have connection with the outside world, with other people, and with nature, truly connection within themselves. Is there's usually a hypervigilant part that's trying to keep them safe. That's like, we got to scan everything. We got to do everything. We're in this group now with these other people. We're scanning the room, scanning them. How are we going to show up? Do we need to front and mask with some performer part that's going to have all the answers, have the right things to say, smile and be all this? It's so overwhelming and so much. You're losing sense of who you authentically are, and being able to show up in an authentic way and be present. Knowing that holds so much power and weight within the environment. It can shift the environment. Instead of worrying so much about this external circumstances and the weather that you cannot control and other people's energies, showing up with who you are authentically in that power and allowing that to shift the environment in a positive way. It's crazy how it works. For a long time I lived in fear, going back to being a child and having parts that adapted to be hypervigilant in an environment that was not emotionally safe for me. I never knew how my caregivers were going to act, whether they were going to be nice or mean, where they're going to be really upset or sad, how much of their emotion they're truly hiding and masking everything. Oh, you know, how are you doing? Oh, just great. Everything's fine, Where underneath there was, so much grief that was never dealt with, and so much pain and suffering and shame and, everything. And being just a little boy and sensing that all the time, of course, I'm going to have parts that are really good at doing that. So it's going to take me time as an adult to grow and develop them, for them to adapt and change, to know that I'm not stuck back there as a child anymore. I'm really an adult. I make my own choices, and I'm choosing to live more in the moment and take in the joy and be more grateful for the moments throughout the day and really experience that, because I can go through my whole day, on this autopilot mode and just get things done and be really productive, but I'm not actually experiencing anything. So then it just becomes this repetitive thing and living in this survival state instead of being in a presence-oriented state. I don't want to live a life full of regret of the moments that have passed by and I'm not really truly living. So, I encourage you to try this out. For me, again, it's photography. For you, it could be a myriad of other things that you really enjoy, that you feel alive. Sometimes you feel like you have to push yourself to get you to that space in that environment to do the thing, whatever the thing is. Maybe it's riding a bicycle. You love being on a bicycle and feeling that freedom and feeling childlike again. Maybe it's roller skating. Maybe it's dance. Maybe it's playing the guitar or the piano. Whatever that thing is where you really feel alive. And then focusing in, while you're doing that, while you're experiencing it, focus, where do I feel it in my body? How do I feel? Can I name the emotion how I feel? That's huge, because so much of trauma is disconnecting, right? So disconnecting from the body and the sensation of feeling, the more you just put this into practice of the things that you're actually enjoying doing in your life, the easier it is when you're trying to do trauma work or when things are activating to you in the external world. The more you can pinpoint these things in the moments of joy and being present and really just tuning in of, this is how I feel, it's easier really when it's a more blended state, when you have more parts that are activated at a time, because then you can bring them that sense of safety and grounded and connectedness of, I'm here with you, you're not alone, and feeling this and being super hyper aware and scanning the room. You're not alone. I'm here with you. You don't have to feel so afraid. I know you feel afraid. And can we go back to feeling safe? Just swinging back and forth in between that. This sounds really simple, and it logically it's simple, but try not to focus on just the logic thing of your mind making sense of this. Of like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Let me try that. It is very difficult because your nervous system is going to override, and don't push it. Don't force yourself to do it. Like, be kind and gentle with yourself, and just know this is hard, and it's going to take time, and that's okay. We're human beings. We're trying to grow and develop here. So, with all that, I hope this helps. I hope that this, encourages you to practice working with your parts, working with yourself, over these next couple weeks. So thank you so much for spending time and being here with me again.